Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am doing actually my first live interview. As most of you are aware, I work in the health and wellness industry and deal with natural therapies. So today I wanted you all to meet one of my mentors that I work with, Maria Williams. Now, she is very dear to my heart. She's made a massive impact in so many people's lives, not just mine, but has touched people all over the world. I want you to hear her story, her inspiration, her successes, and maybe you can understand why I look at her in this way. So Maria, she is online. I am going to invite her now. Bear with me with technology. Maria Williams is in the US, and I'm just so grateful anyway that she has made this time to talk to me. Got her coming online now. Fingers crossed. Hey!
Hey, can you see me and hear me?
I sure can. Thank you so much, Maria. You've really, you've made my last couple of days knowing that you've taken some time out to be able to do this interview with me. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's an honor, and I'm so humbled to be able to share my story, help your audience understand what we have our hands on, why it's so special, and what they can do with it, right?
Absolutely. Because of what we do, it's still very new in the industry, and so many have no idea. And to have someone like you, which, you know, I've learned so much from, that not only in the industry that we're in, but also tools to, you know, live life to the fullest and to be able to fulfill your dreams. And the old way of thinking, you know, that you have to work 9 to 5 to reach a certain age to be able to retire. And with our super funds, well, everyone is really nervous because you're not sort of getting what you want. And also the hard work and the stress where there's so much more options. So first of all, could you give me some background about yourself and how did you get to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Massachusetts. I was born in Brazil, came to the US when I was a little baby, and grew up in Massachusetts, went to college there, and I was in human resources for about 20 some years in the manufacturing industry. My husband was in the insurance industry. And in 2008, with the bad economy around the world, well, my husband's job got eliminated. And so he had to find something else, and he found something he wanted in Arizona. And I said, I'll move, but my boys were 9 and 11 at the time.
Yeah.
And I worked, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, a 3-shift operation in manufacturing. When something happened, they'd call me. So I hardly ever saw my boys. And I said, you know what? I'll move, but I'm not going to work the way I'm working anymore. I'm not going to work all these hours. I'm not going to go back into corporate America and never see my boys. We don't have any family here, no friends, no one that could support and help, because I paid people to support and help me because I worked all those hours with the boys.
Yeah.
And he said, fine, no problem. And I knew that eventually I would do something. I just didn't know what that was going to be. And that's when I got exposed to this industry. I was just literally praying, asking God, like, show me something I can do that I can have flexibility, that I could be a mom, that I could, be that stay-at-home mom, but still bring some income in. And I remember so clearly, like it was today. It was 8 years ago. And my neighbor called me, Carrie Williams, no relations at all, but her last name was Williams, and we were neighbors. And she said, hey, want to come over? The boys want to use the pool, because I was always inviting her, come into our pool. And when she got here, she said, hey, I want you to watch this ABC investigative report. And I watched it, and it blew my mind. See, I knew enough about nutrition that I knew about antioxidants and free radicals. I knew about eating healthier. I had done a lot of research because I was, they thought in 2007 that I had leukemia, and it turned out not to be because my blood work wasn't right. So I knew something was going on, but I never went back to the doctor because we moved and this all happened. And so I was just trying to eat healthy. So I knew enough about nutrition that when I saw that investigative report, I had never heard of oxidative stress. What are they talking about? And it can reduce this oxidative stress that's linked to all these diseases. I was like, wow, this seems like it really is very special.
Yeah.
And the more that I understood what it was that we had our hands on, that's really an NRF2 activator, and it doesn't exist in the world. And we have the most potent one still today, 8 years later. And then I understood that oxidative stress, oxidation, inflammation is linked to almost every disease that's out there. I said, this is like a no-brainer. We have the only product in the world that does what it does. Nobody knows about it. Publicly traded company on NASDAQ today. Something just spoke to me that there was besides wanting to be on it for my own health, I just saw this huge opportunity to share this with the world.
So how did you, because that's a pretty amazing story, and I'm sure that so many people can relate, especially going from working so much and then wanting to be at home. And I know even myself, that's what I'm still doing now. And then the struggles of being caught up in the old way of working. So you were seeing this product for yourself, for your healing, but also potentially where it would take you business wise. So how many years ago was that we're looking at when you started?
It was 8 years ago when I started. 8 years ago.
So you took the product yourself, and what happened?
So I got on the product, and I was feeling really run down and tired. Yeah. And so the first thing I felt is I got my energy back. I felt amazing, full of energy, full of vigor. I mean, I felt honestly like 20 years younger. Yeah. And it was just incredible. You know, my mental clarity and focus. I mean, I literally felt like a fog had been lifted from my brain. And I just had this huge clarity. You know, I got immediately, I told my family about it. I said, look, I don't know what this is going to do. I see the science that's there. We had a couple of studies. I said, the science is there. Let's just get on it and let me know what it does for you. You know, and my family is really trusting. Yeah. So they were like, sure, we'll get on it. And everyone started having results. My mom and my dad, both diabetics, they started having their own results. You know, again, more energy, more flexibility, sleeping better, just less anxiety, better mood. It was funny because my boys, you know, within that first month of taking it, my boys said to my husband, it's like, you know, Dad, you're in a much better mood. So don't know what it did, but it just gave him, and you know, now that we look at the science and the research on it, is that, you know, it helps the brain calm the brain down, right? It has ashwagandha is in it, which is a brain calmer. So I think it just, you know, from getting home from work, being stressed out, he was just like in a zen, just very calm. So we quickly fell in love with the product. And I said, you know, I didn't know what I was going to be able to do with this business. I had no idea. Yeah. But I knew that what I was feeling you know, my mom and dad, my sisters, my husband, I'm like, wow, if this can just bless more people, if this can help more people, why not share it? I really didn't understand this direct sales, network marketing. You know, I'm like, look, if I can make, my husband said, if you can make enough to pay for the product, I'll be thrilled. And I wanted to make enough, honestly, to be able to go back home and see my mom and dad and see my sisters and my best friends, and to be, you know, I'd never been separated from them. And so that was my goal when I started, is I just want to go back home more often, because I knew that on one income we weren't going to be able to do it. And so I became very passionate, started sharing this, you know, People ask me, well, how many hours did you work? I said, I worked all the hours. I was constantly on the phone, you know, calling people, sharing it with people, trying to connect for coffee, meet up with people, have a presentation. I was just sharing it nonstop with people. If you came, I know it's a cliche in this industry, but it's true. If you came within 3 feet of me, we were going to have a conversation and it would lead to me sharing this information with you. Because, you know, I just ask people lots of questions and eventually they ask, well, what do you do? Right? Or people complain about not feeling well, not being happy, you know, not being satisfied with things, right? And that's all I needed was like, they would say that and I'd say, hey, I've got something for you to take a look at. And
Absolutely.
and it was very simple. It was just I kept sending that ABC investigative report. I let that do the talking because ABC came in. It for Australians that don't know what it is, it's a national news report that was on once a week. And so when they came in, they really came in to debunk this company. Was this scientific breakthrough really real? And by the end of the, you know, the session, they couldn't debunk it. The host gives his own blood, and the results are astronomical. They're amazing, right?
I know. It's
And
like for Australia. Sorry, Maria. It's like for us in Australia. It's like Current Affair, that show. So they'll be able to relate to that now that you're talking about it.
and we can post it down in the link. So if somebody wants to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it, you can post it in the comments afterwards. And, you know, then if they're interested, they can get back to you about it.
Yeah, that well, absolutely. Because any questions as Marie's talking, I'm sort of watching down below. I can ask you as well. Um, and what I wanted, because you're inspirational, and just even hearing you talk, you've got a lot of energy and a lot of passion. What would you say? Like people that are watching now are either first time and not really aware of what I do in my business and what we do, and this health tool that we can offer. But not only that, the business side of things as well. What tips would you have for those that are unhappy in their lives or their work, or generally, what could you offer them at this stage by listening now?
So I'd say if you're looking for more out of life, if you're not satisfied with where your life is, right, where you thought it would be and it's not there,
Yeah,
there are alternatives out there, right? And I feel that direct sales, network marketing is a better way. It's another option, another tool. And so there have been many, you know, people, you know, you may have been approached by different, you know, network marketing companies, but if you look at all of them, there are successful people and there are people making lots of income.
yeah,
And I think that you need to be passionate about what you are selling, whether it's a product or a service. You have to be passionate about it. And so, you know, when you look at this product that we have our hands on and how it's changing lives and can change lives, you know, and improve your health, and you become passionate about that. That's all you do. You keep on sharing that with people from your heart. You keep blessing people with this, and then the blessing in turn that you get is that you build this beautiful team of people that are out there building their own networks of consumers and distributors. And we're all connected and we all, you know, share in the benefits of building this business together. You know, I'll be honest, some people say, oh, this is a pyramid scheme. I said, well, no, it's not a pyramid scheme, right? Because a pyramid scheme is illegal, first of all. And it's not, I mean, every industry, every business out there is in the shape of a pyramid. I really think that, you know, this business is you go build your own little pyramid, right? But at the same time, you're blessing other people and helping them. You know, 8 years in this business, I've been able, you know, on my team, almost 40 people that have been able to retire, walk away from the job they didn't like, create a better life for themselves. You know, they were looking for another source of income, and this source of income has been able to replace their current source of income. And lots of people that just wanted to make some part-time income, stay-at-home moms, right? We have
Yeah.
tons of stay-at-home moms that, are bringing in $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, extra income that they wanted for them, for their families. And I hear stories like this over and over again of the, of the potential that's here. And I think with what we have our hands on, where nobody knows about it,
Yeah.
it is a scientific breakthrough. And people say, well, why doesn't everybody know about it? Well, because there are trillions of people right out there, millions and millions, right? And it takes time. It takes time for information like this. Think of it, when you see a commercial, do you run out and go buy that thing? No. They say it's 6 to 12 times that you've got to see that commercial, or you see the commercial and somebody tells you about it, or then another friend, and then, or you read something in a magazine. It's like 6 to 12 times that it pops and you're like, hey, maybe I should go buy that. Oh, I like that. Maybe I should get it, right? It's the
Yeah.
same thing with this. It takes time for it to get branded. But I'm telling you, 10, 15 years from now, everyone is going to be taking an NRF2 activator, right?
That's
And an NRF1 activator. It is going to
yes.
be your staple supplement. This is actually a nutrigenomic nutrition for your genes, but it is going to be the staple that everyone is taking and that doctors are recommending. So instead of them recommending, hey, go take a multivitamin, they're going to be saying, you need to be taking a NRF2 activator and a NRF1 activator. Nutrigenomics is the future of medicine.
Yeah.
And we're there. We have, the most potent one in the world. And it's just getting it out there for people. So if you ever wanted to be part of something huge, something that you can't even imagine, sometimes I'll tell people, antioxidants are, the flip phone. And then we've got the smartphone, right? We've got the top notch, the
Yeah.
new iPhone that came out, the X, I think it's called.
Yes.
That's what NRF1 and NRF2 activation is. It's that smartphone. So we're so far ahead of where this is going to go in medicine that, people, don't know about it. But it's the perfect time for you to get involved and to grow a business, right? What I want to, now be getting involved in, and we're talking about iPhones, right? And Apple, right? Well, it's had its course. If I was going to get involved with it, it would have been I can still get involved today, right? And there'll be some potential. But if I had been involved at the beginning of it, like let's say the first 5 years, that's when huge potential occurs. And it's with this business is the same thing. Being on the ground floor is where there's so much potential. Because it's potential of growth, it's potential of sharing this with the world. Look, I'm here in the US, you're in Australia, and it only because someone that lived here in the US knew somebody in Australia and shared it with them. And because of that, is where, the Australian team got started. Was because of that, and how, that led to you finding out about it. So, that's the potential of being first in something. Think of all the things that you could have been first in if you had thought of it, if you had invented it, right? I mean, there's, tons of things that, people have ideas but never implement. And then all of a sudden they see someone else that's implemented or launched that idea. And now, they're the millionaires and not you. So
that's right. And particularly, I mean, as you're saying, the market's not saturated at the moment. And the fact that probably most of the people that are listening have no idea what we're talking about, which obviously I'm happy to share more information, because it's really about attraction, marketing, and sharing. And that's why, for me, I picked up on it so quickly, because it's a no-brainer with this amazing supplement and the science backing and what it can do. But the changes that I've seen personally in my clients is just outstanding. And then having you here to explain that will make my audience understand deeper the I suppose how it expands worldwide. And even with you, Maria, in your organization and all the people in the world that you have touched and your growth, what are we looking at? Do you have any sort of idea with figures and people that you have changed their lives just from sharing this amazing information and tool to help people?
Well, I started just me, right? Just me, and going out there and sharing with people. I found three key people. So, this is how this business works. I talked to hundreds and hundreds of people, got lots of customers, but looking for someone else that was seeing the business opportunity. I found three people initially, and those three went out and talked to people and found their three, right? And then they went out and talked to people, and then they went out and talked to people. Today, in my team, I have almost 70,000 people. 90% are just customers, people that see this information and just want to be a customer. And then it's the 10% that see the business opportunity of it, that are growing their own teams, their own businesses, their own networks, right? And we're all connected, so we all benefit by doing this together. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, those numbers are just amazing. Like, to think that you are a key responsibility for helping so many to improve their quality of life. And I mean, we're not saying this is a magic pill by all means. Our bodies are the magic ones. And I had a meeting with a couple of my team today saying it's really providing a tool or a pathway to a dormant pathway and reactivating it. And it's our bodies that are able to utilize that and self-heal. And that in itself is what you've done and touched so many in the world just by sharing that information. And that's a huge, huge goal of mine. And you're an inspiration, because I'm looking ahead and seeing potentially, the limitless possibilities that can come for me and those all around me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the key to it is, I work with a lot of people, coaching them, helping them, build this, mentoring them. And it comes down to one thing. It's very simple to share, press a button and send a video and say, hey, watch this video, right? And the information, to talk about it and share it, it's very simple. You don't even have to know a lot. You can send a video and then get someone on the team to do the talking and explaining. You could literally build this with never opening up your mouth, just by send this and then, hey, listen to this person, get on this webinar. Yeah. But what it comes down to is believing in yourself. We can eliminate everything else. And, I questioned myself, my first couple of years doing this. Was I going to have success? At the beginning, there were many times I wanted to quit. But what kept me in the game was every time I got an email or a text or a call, how it had benefited someone, how someone was feeling better, how someone made a little extra income that now they could, pay for their kids, schools that they wanted them to go to, or the car payment, or just, groceries, extra groceries, or go out to dinner with their spouse, whatever it is, right? So when I know that we're blessing people's lives, it kept inspiring me. It kept pushing me to keep talking to people, to keep teaching others, to keep mentoring. And, slowly my belief in me started growing, because I believed in the product. I mean, it did not take me long, 2 weeks on it, and I was feeling like, whoa, what's going on here? So, the science is there behind to back this product. We have, for a supplement, there's no supplement in the world that has this amount of independent researches by independent studies by universities around the world showing how the product could benefit in different diseases. Like, that doesn't exist with supplements. I'll bet anyone, whatever you're taking, you can go look it up, and you're not going to find a direct study with the name of that product being used by independent universities. There's probably a handful that might be out there. So that, I believed in the product and I had no doubt, right? The industry, you know, I had read a lot about people that have had success. I had gone to some parties, like jewelry parties, Pampered Chef, Amway, Mary Kay,
Yeah.
I had gone, I had seen those and I had heard of success stories in it, but it was me believing in me. Could I do this?
Yeah.
And then as I started growing my business month after month after month, and then year after year, my belief in me started growing. So, my advice to you, Samantha, and to anyone watching this that wants to do this is have a big dream of what you want in life and start believing in yourself. First of all, that you're worthy, that you
Yeah.
deserve it, and that if you're hearing about this, nothing is coincidence. I call it God incidences. Like,
I love it.
you, yeah, you need to just ask God for something or ask whatever you believe in, right? You're spiritual, just ask the universe and it comes to you. But you have a choice whether you're going to be open minded to it. I mean, I know I was praying and looking for something. And so when this came to me, and I was watching the ABC, I could hear that little voice in my head saying, hey, you know, you were asking, here it is. And I'm like, this? How am I going to create income with this? How do I do this? How am I going to build a team? I don't know a lot. I mean, I know people, but I don't know thousands and thousands of people. But I didn't need to. I needed to know a few
Yeah.
that led to a few, that led to a few, and that led to a few. And
And
it was really believing that I could do this. And that I know you, Samantha, I know you can do this. I know your heart. I know it's
yeah.
in the right place. You're always been in on the holistic side, a holistic healer. And this is just another tool now that you have to really change people's lives. And
Absolutely.
when people see that it's changing their lives and their health, they even open up and say, well, maybe I can tell some people, maybe I can find a couple of few people that see this like me. And then it just starts to expand and grow. And so dream big, the things you want. I've always taught my children to dream big for whatever they wanted, and a lot of their dreams have come true, and a lot of it's been possible because of this business, because of building this business, right? I've been able to allow my children to go to the top universities in the United States, and we never even, were worried about the money,
Yes.
and that was initially one of my big goals that I had, was to be able to pay for university for them. I didn't know if they would get a scholarship or not. So that was, my children have always been the center of my why I wanted to build this business. And when you have something really strong that, it touches your heart. And when you build this business, not from your head, not with greed or thinking about money and all of this, when you build it from your heart, it just all manifests and it all happens. Your journey may be, everyone's journey is different because we think we believe, but we don't believe. And when we start to really believe and we get to a place where we accept that we deserve this and it starts to happen, it's such a beautiful thing. And this business is just extraordinary because you can't do it alone. I'm here looking at you and I can't wait for the day that you walk across that stage as one of the elites in Australia. And I know it's going to happen, right? I
Yes.
know it's going to happen. And so that brings me so much joy knowing that as your journey grows, as your business and your team grows, and all the people that you bless.
Absolutely. Thank you, Maria. And I agree with everything that you're saying. And I think one of the key things, it's an amazing product, but it sort of organically grows. I mean, you have to put in time, but because of people experiencing such shifts and change that is going on a cellular level with their bodies, people want to talk about changes and whether they're good, whether they're bad. If something's changed within someone, that's when they talk. And so when they start on this journey, things change. And so that's a lot of growth actually even for me personally, within my little organization that's growing, it's just from talk and how they're feeling and the changes that are occurring in their life. So, yeah, so even though I could keep talking with you all day, I want to round things up, Maria, and I want to say thank you again from the bottom of my heart, because I know, well, what is the time there in the US anyhow?
It's probably around 7:30 at night.
7:30 at night.
It's not late.
I know, but you're still sort of giving me this time. So thank you. And for everyone else that has jumped on live, thank you for listening. And if you do have any questions, drop them in the comments below, or message me, and I can send you information and answer those inquiries for you. All right. Well, thank you, Maria.
Thank you, sweetie. It was my pleasure to be able to, share my story and this information with you, and for your friends that are out there watching this and that will watch this.
Thank you so much. And everyone else in Australia, it's weekend time almost. So enjoy. See you later.